With so many new agencies entering the market every single week, how does a customer choose what great looks like in a recruitment agency?
And they said, well, that's how we've always done it. I said, no, but why do you do it like that? They're like, no, I don't know. It's just the way we do it. And I think, wow, that is so inefficient, because you're actually making the candidate do the work. How does the candidate know from looking at 100 different positions which one is right for them? So to answer your question about what should a candidate look for, I think they should look for a consultant that actually knows who they are and why they want to do the work they want to do in the places they want to do and how long for or whatever, right?
If you want to hear more of these stories, don't forget to hit follow and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And follow us on It Takes Heart Instagram page for all the behind the scenes fun.
We care for the land and sea.
So It Takes Heart typically shines a light on healthcare workers making a difference across the country of Australia. But today we are taking a slightly different approach. As a recruitment agency, we connect those healthcare professionals to the communities that need them most. And in the last 5 years, we've seen a surge in new agencies, major tech advancements, and challenging economic conditions that are reshaping the landscape for our customers. So what does great recruitment look like in the post-COVID era? To answer that today, we are speaking with Sophie Robertson. Now, Sophie is the best in the business when it comes to recruitment training and coaching. She is a best-selling industry author. She works with recruitment agencies around the world. Welcome to It Takes Heart, Sophie.
Oh my God, is it me that you just described?
Well, the best part, you know what I was thinking as I was reading that? You know, usually when you go on a panel and you've had to send you haven't had to send us anything.
No, I haven't sent you
that
anything.
all right?
Just know.
No.
we
Well,
spot
thank
on?
you.
Your reputation precedes you.
It does. We are very lucky to have you in here
Lucky
for
to
a
be
few
here.
days this week to spend
Yes.
some time with our team. So we thought, what an opportunity to sit with you and actually share a little bit about your journey and some of your insights. I thought it'd be quite interesting for our audience. But maybe we can start with Sophie. Who is Sophie Robertson?
Oh my God, how far do you want me to go back?
I know, right? How far? I don't know. Well, how did you
Okay,
get
let
into
me-
recruitment? Why did you get into
Let me
recruitment?
give you a quick snapshot
Yes.
then.
Go.
Okay, so I was born in Hong Kong from parents in Shanghai, and we left there when I was just before I turned 5, went to Denmark. Was in Denmark for a bit, then we went to Canada, then we went to the States, and then back to Denmark, and then I came to Australia. Whew.
Why did you move around so much?
My mum didn't. Okay, so from Hong Kong to Denmark, my dad was offered a post at the University of Copenhagen. And I mean, Denmark, wow, you know. So went there, but back then you couldn't really buy Chinese groceries.
Yeah.
So my mum didn't like it.
Right.
So then we went to Canada.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yes,
It
yes.
sounds so weird, but that's
But
that's
then
the
we
real
say that in
reason.
recruitment. If
you've
the
got to-
partner's
if the
not happy,
family's
they're
not
not going to
happy.
stay.
Yeah. And it was too cold.
Yeah.
She was just like, it's too cold. Language is too hard. Plus, I can't cook Chinese.
Yeah.
Okay, weird, but
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
Did I hear you went to 10 schools
I did.
in 10 years or
I
something?
did. Yeah. So I think that's actually what has made me successful in recruitment, and maybe just the ability to, I guess, suss people out and read a room, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I think going to many different schools, you have to kind of figure out who's who very quickly and what's
Yes.
going on.
Yeah, very adaptable.
And also in different countries and different languages.
So do you speak a lot of languages?
Not really. I mean, I speak Danish and I speak Shanghainese. Not well. That's my worst language of all of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So then how did recruitment become?
Okay, so I came to Australia and someone said, you'd be good in recruitment. And I'm like, what's recruitment? And then I applied for a job and got one. The rest is history, as they say.
Loved it.
18 years.
18 years in recruitment.
Yeah.
Temp recruiting.
Temp recruitment.
What industry?
I started in business support and accounting, and then later on, I became branch manager. It was insane now when I think about it, because I actually became branch manager 12 months into my recruitment career.
Yeah.
I mean, what did I even know?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. How many people were you looking
New
after
to the
at that point?
country,
Yeah.
new to just 3.
Yeah.
But they were all older than me and all had more recruitment experience than me.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it was kind of like, who's this?
Who's this
Yeah.
guy?
Young upstart, right?
That happened to me.
Yeah.
6 months in.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's crazy, right? But I think what did actually happen was, actually you know him, my boss at the time, Nigel. So when I actually preceded Nigel at Echo, so it was Echo Personnel, which is now at Echo. And Nigel came in 6 months into my career there, and he basically, I was super impressed by this and still am, is he traveled around to every branch and would sit with all of us. And you have to understand, I was a rookie recruiter. I barely knew what I was doing. And he looked at me and went, "What do you want from this company? What can we do for you?" And that has stayed with me. And I basically said...
Did you know at that point?
Yeah. I said, "I want to make more money and I want a promotion." And he went, "We can do that." But his favourite story is, of course, when I came in, there were, 60 staff. And when he was done, I think there were 9. It was less than 10.
Yeah.
Because his motto was always, it's better to have no staff than bad staff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how I grew up
Yeah.
in recruitment. But it was fun. It was really fun.
What do you think's really misunderstood about recruitment?
I think that we don't care. That really annoys me and always has, is that it's all about the commission and the money. Because the people that are really good at it, I think, that's not their first priority. It never is. And as you guys might know or remember from training years ago, I have a saying, which is service.
Service, yeah.
And money will follow.
Yeah.
And everybody I ever coach, I say to them, if you think about the money first, you won't do well. Because when you think about the money, you think about yourself. But you need to think about them,
Yeah.
right? The client and the candidate.
Yeah.
Because that's who it's about. And I would say to people, can't you tell when people are there for themselves? And they go, "Oh, yeah, I can." I'm like, okay, so what are you doing? Right?
also-
Because the people you're dealing with can tell that you're just there for yourself.
100%.
People can tell.
Has the role of recruiter changed, or how has it changed from when you were recruiting? Like, I think that when I started in the UK, there was signs up in the window for the jobs, and
Oh, yeah. Well, we never had shop front. Oh, actually, that's not true. I had a shop front in Blacktown. That was really hard. But only because, some of my consultants, they were actually a bit scared of being there.
yeah,
Because it's, sometimes maybe not the safest area. But, yeah.
And if you're saying no to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people just come in.
yeah.
So
yeah.
that's why we actually went away from the shop front.
Yeah.
But so people
Has
had
the
to come
role
in.
then changed of a recruiter, or do you think fundamentally it's the same?
I think recruiters have changed it. And I don't think always for the better, if
Yeah.
that makes sense, right? And so I always think about recruiters in different buckets, if that makes sense. I think there's like the transactional recruiter, and then I think there's the ones that are very relationship based. Yeah. And of course, I've always been there. But I used to say to people, look, I'm not being judgy, because I think there has been room for that whole range, but I don't think there is anymore. I think with the advent of tech, I think the transactional recruiter, and I say to them, if you were never convinced that relationships are worthwhile, it's now.
Yeah,
And if you don't take that seriously, I actually think you're going to be redundant.
yeah, yeah.
What's that real impact to customers' bottom line? So in a time when there is AI and they might be thinking we can do a lot of this ourselves, we can get a lot of efficiencies, I guess where do you see the most value of someone engaging with a recruitment agency to really impact their, obviously their workforce, but ultimately saving money?
Well, if you're looking at, say, for example, doctors and nurses, right, they care for people. Now, if they don't get the right people in, there might be incidents, right? There are incidents. If the medication is not correct, all those things. So when things go wrong, it costs money to fix things.
Yes.
So do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if care has to be extended, that costs money. So yes, maybe you can get an app. And I think about this a lot. It's like getting Uber Eats, right? So you get Uber Eats, you can get something in the door. Maybe you can get a nurse in the door. But do you really know who that person is? Has the compliance been done properly? Does that person actually have a care factor? I mean, those things will cost money, right? If something goes wrong, it costs money. If you have, say you need a GP in a clinic, right? This happens a lot, where they need an extra GP and they're like, the clinic might think it's too expensive for us to engage a recruiter because, we have to pay the fees, we have to pay the doctor, etc. But I always think about, okay, so if they can't cope with the patient load, where do those patients go? They go maybe to the GP clinic up the road. What if they like that GP better?
Yeah.
And then you've lost them.
Then you've lost them for good.
Right? So I think there's a few things to think about. I think there's the patient care, but there's also the business side of, because it is a business, right, running a GP clinic as well, or running a hospital even.
What about, we talk about the tip of the iceberg, and there's all the things under the water that recruiters do that no one sees.
Yeah.
What are those things?
Oh my goodness. I think a lot of it is actually building your networks and reading, if that makes sense, reading, listening, just keeping up with what's going on. It's funny because a lot of people are saying to me, oh, things are getting really tight, and I'm not disputing that they are. But, I've been in the business so long that I say to people, it's cyclical.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are going through a cycle. And at the moment, the cycle is everyone wants to take it in-house and save money, right? So we want to do without recruiters. And I said, don't worry. I've been here before.
Yeah.
And they will come back. And then, of course, the next question is, when? When are they coming back?
How long does it go?
I said, that I don't know, because
Yeah.
I think there's also economic factors in the world, right? Geopolitical and
Yes.
geoeconomic factors. But
And so I think when clients are talking about rates or all of our customers really, margins or what's the hourly rate, what else? What are the other questions that, customers really need to be asking to understand?
So I think one thing that recruiters really need to learn is to ask the client, is the rate the most important thing? Like, what things are you willing to trade for that, right? Because are you willing to trade quality? Are you willing to trade... Okay, so I just heard this thing the other day on the news. So, I'm Sydney-based.
Yeah.
And in New South Wales, I heard there's a task force now to look into modern slavery in relation to recruitment agencies, and particularly in relation to aged care, right? So my ears kind of pricked up because
Yeah.
it's recruitment related, but also because I knew I was coming here, right? And I thought, I wonder if your clients know about that. And if it's in New South Wales, it must be in every
Everywhere,
state,
every other
right?
state,
In
yeah.
every other state.
Yes.
So I guess the questions the clients need to think about is, when they say we want the cheapest, how far are they willing to go? Are they willing to go to modern slavery? Are they willing to go to less care for the patient? I mean, what? It's always a
sacrifice
risk thing, right?
compliance. Yeah.
And in healthcare, the stakes are so high.
They're too high.
when
They're
you
too
get it
high.
wrong, it goes astronomically wrong.
Yeah. I mean, what I've always loved about CMR is, I remember hearing Sam say years ago about, would you have this person look after your mother?
Yeah.
100%.
No,
And
but
you-
I think that's
Yeah.
great.
But you had that, and you
Yes.
shared that with the team when I remember you're up in Cairns, and one
Yeah,
of our
my-
nurses actually were looking after a relative of
Yes.
yours up there, and you
Yeah.
met someone in CMR
Well, no,
Scrubs.
I wasn't actually up there. So
Oh, your family.
my aunt was very unwell, and she ended up passing away. And my aunt said to my mum, in walked two of the CMR nurses, and my next thought was, oh God, please let them have been great quality. And they spoke so highly of our staff, and they've recently had another one where they've been treated by a podiatrist of ours up there. And I
Yeah.
said it to the team, like, you never know where our candidates are going to turn up and which one of your family members are they going to be treating. And if you think about that, every time you register someone and send them out, it's a different conversation.
Yeah. I always remembered you said that. I actually may have quoted you to several people about
Yeah,
that.
would you want
in
them to?
healthcare, because
Yeah.
I think it's relevant, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, one thing is, what I used to do, like in business support or in retail or in all the other sectors I've been in, but I think yours it's critical, right?
Yeah.
Because they're dealing with people, like literally lives, right?
You
They can
know-
save lives.
With the cyclical nature, you just said that, we're in this time, and we've seen that with LinkedIn came in and everyone was bringing it in-house, you don't need recruiters. And what advice, though, I guess for clients, like what are the learnings that you've seen coming out of some of those cycles where clients have looked back and gone, oh gosh, I wish I'd known what I knew then, and maybe I wouldn't have made some of the decisions I did at that point to cut back on costs.
Sometimes it's, I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's from above that they have to do that, right? But I think, for them, it's funny because when you asked that question, I was actually thinking about what we need to do on the recruitment side during that time.
Yes.
So maybe,
What
is it
do
okay if
we
I start
with
there?
that then? Yeah.
Because that's kind of where my mind went, right? Is when consultants panic, because they do, they're kind of going, there's no business, they don't want us. And I'm like, no, just calm down. First of all, find out how many roles are they working on, right? Because a lot of them have a lot on.
Yeah.
And I said to them, look, could you take on 50 roles? There's no way you can do that if you're a good recruiter and you're doing a good job, right? So say to them, don't look at me as your competition. Look at me as an addition to your team. And I think recruiters should always think about that. It's not me versus you.
Us or
It's
them.
and, right? It's
Yeah.
and. Like I used to say to people, hey, I've got 18 years experience. With one phone call, you can get that. But when you don't need me, don't call me. Like, you know what I mean? So I think from the recruitment point of view, recruiters have to think about that, right? Is there's always business.
Yeah.
And the easy stuff, like the low-hanging stuff, internally, you know what? They probably should do that.
Yes.
We don't need to
We're
do
there
that.
to
Yeah.
help when it's really
When
hard.
it's hard.
Yeah.
And I say to people, that's when you also get tested. Tell your clients, give me your hard stuff,
me your hard
right?
stuff.
And I think from the client point of view, then to come to your question of what can the clients learn, is they also need to think about it's not us versus them.
Yeah.
It's actually us together. Like, look, I have resources here that when I need, I can call you and I
Yeah.
can get that experience and the network and, you know, everything, right? But when I don't, it doesn't have to be, it's either you or me. It's us together.
Yeah.
That comes
why-
down to the relationship piece, doesn't it?
does.
If it's not there, then you can't have those open conversations.
Yeah.
And it's sticking with the clients even when they don't need you.
That's the most important thing, is
So
to
that-
stick with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is to stick with them.
Big question I've got is, though, let's talk about tech, AI, automation. Is the role of the recruiter about to be made redundant?
I don't think so.
I love that you went in so quick with it.
I mean, I have to say, in my now 3 decades, right, often there's been things that have come up. There's been job boards, there's been LinkedIn, there's been different things, and people have said, oh, is the recruiter going to be redundant? And I've never even given it a second thought, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe for 10 seconds, right? But this time with AI, I really had to stop and think about it seriously, and I've been thinking about it a lot. And I do think that previously there's been a market for the whole gamut of no-touch or low-touch recruiter to very high-touch. And I think AI now will take over the no-touch or low-touch recruiter. I think to some extent there are some clients, maybe even yours, that are forcing recruiters to be no-touch or low-touch. You know, the ones that say, I don't want to talk to you.
Yes.
I'm just going to email
You have
you.
to work
Yeah.
within
And
your
then
You're
you
on the
just
email
upload
list.
you just upload stuff to me, right? And there's no conversation. Like, I think that's very hard. But I say to recruiters, there are things you can do, which you should do anyway. Like, I think you can do quality checks. I think you should always do an exit interview when someone's been there, if it's on a locum basis or temp basis. Find out what they really like. Because some clients, I don't know whether they can't or they won't articulate what they really like in a person. Like, they'll just say, send me a nurse.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, there are many different types of
Yes.
nurses, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I did some training last week and it was great because the consultant said to me, oh, it's great because the client rang up and said, send me a nurse. And she went, no, I remember what you said. I had to ask questions. And she said 20 minutes later, she said, I got this really good brief and it was a mental health nurse and it was for these people. And I said, and how do you think the conversation was for the client? And she said, I think they really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because no one else had asked them. So sometimes it's almost like, can we create those opportunities to ask?
Yeah.
And maybe it's not at the beginning if they're trying to do the no-touch thing.
Yeah.
But if you're going to look after, I mean, I guess particularly from a temp and locum point of view, is if you're going to look after your workforce, because they are your workforce,
Yeah.
you need to make sure both they are happy and also the client's happy, right? So you have to talk to them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you do.
No, you do.
And so I guess
that's
if
a
the-
challenge we have too. It's like, go through workforce, and they're like,
Yeah.
you need to talk to
But
them.
This is where you need to know
understand.
all of the touch points throughout a hospital or a health service. It can't just be the one person. You've got to have all of it. So if you're talking about, you know, low touch recruiting, that transactional recruiter is sort of on the way out. What are the really key traits that you feel a successful recruiter needs to have now?
Today.
Yeah.
Curiosity.
From the talent acquisition.
Curiosity.
Yeah.
I like to say to people, do you remember, oh, maybe you don't remember, we don't remember when we were 5, but we've been with a 5-year-old. And you know how they ask you 1,000 questions,
Oh my
but in a
gosh.
very irritating way.
Yeah.
And they just say why. And I said, we are like that,
Yes.
but we learn to ask the questions in a better way, right? But that curiosity, because there's always another question. And I think you need people that can be curious, can establish relationships, and also know that if someone says no, because people are going to say no, that it just means no, not yet. That it's not, oh no, they hate me, I'm not going to call them
or
back.
no today, no in
Yes.
this
Yeah,
minute. You
that's
know,
right.
our customers are standing on a health floor.
Yeah.
They're not sitting at a desk a lot of the time. And,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of challenges to overcome there. And it's
Yeah.
about reading the room of when's the right time.
Exactly.
The curiosity.
I think curiosity,
What else?
I don't know, are you recruiting for perm or locum?
Both. Yeah. Well, our recruiter, because you're right, your temp recruiter or your
different.
perm recruiter, they're different. Yeah.
They're different. I think if you're recruiting for temp, I like problem solvers, and I say to people, don't think of your job as a job placer. That's not your job.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like, but find out what the problems are that your clients have. And you can't find that out unless you talk to them. I mean, sometimes I've been asked during my career, tell me, what's the one thing if someone could solve, and maybe it's not me. And sometimes clients have said things where I was just like, okay, I have no idea about that. But then I've gone away, thought about it, and come back and said, have you thought about this?
Yes.
And maybe it's sometimes things we could provide. Sometimes it's not. It doesn't matter. They know you're on their
On their
side,
team,
right?
yeah,
That you're
yeah.
thinking about it. I mean, I do think temp recruiters have to be your strong BD people, so they have to really have the tenacity to really build those relationships and stay in there for the long haul, right? That it's not just, if I can't get something today, I have to keep, because I have to get to know you over time.
Yeah.
And I think that's been lost. Like I often ask consultants, tell me a fun fact about one of your nurses. And they go, what do you mean?
Yeah.
It's because everything's on demand, right? We don't.
No, but they know everything maybe about their skills. And I'm like, what about them as a person?
Yeah.
Not asking the questions.
And it's not until I say to them, well, sometimes, you're much more than what you are here at work. And they go, oh, yeah, of course. And I say, so are your tips, right?
Yes.
Do you know anything about them? And you could say equally the same about the clients. They are also much more than they are in workforce admin or whatever.
Yeah.
Who are they?
That curiosity is really important too. If you think back, we were at a conference last week and I think it was Greg Savage was talking about, just the rubbish that's going to come from AI and, candidates that are just uploading CVs that are matched. And like as a recruiter, that's where that curiosity is so important, to be able to decipher through and ask more questions and really make sure that then we can provide a better level of quality for our customers, when if that's what they're going to get so much noise in the next couple of years that they won't be able to trust what's right and what's wrong, what's true and what's false.
Well, I don't know. Did you hear about, in America, it's alleged, there was some story about that there's so much deep fakes going on in AI that when they apply for jobs, you can't be sure that they are who they are. Like even the face and everything, the voice, there's nothing, you know? We talk in my time about people lying on their resume, but this is
This is a whole other
this is a
level.
whole other ballgame,
Yeah.
right? And your job and your specialty is reading people, getting the story out of them. Can a piece of tech do that? I don't think it can do it yet. I'm not going to speak about whether it can in future, but not yet. And that is the value that we add, right, as recruiters. Because, I don't know, and a lot of your clients, I imagine, unless their job is to recruit, if it's a NUM or something, their job, they have other things to do, right?
Yeah.
Whereas your
Can't
specialty,
dedicate the time.
No, but also, it's also maybe not their specialty, right? Whereas it's your expertise and your specialty. It's like getting us to administer medicine. What do I know about that? I'm not going near that.
This is where recruiters need to hold the confidence to have these conversations and know their value, that the volume that they're doing here is more than what the client would be doing on that one-on-one level.
Yeah.
The amount of people that they speak to, if they're truly being curious, the amount of things that they know and can offer is quite a lot. What about from a client? So, there have been so many agencies in the last 5 years. It seems a huge influx of agencies.
Definitely in healthcare.
We have noticed it. On every tender, there's more. It's more competitive than ever. How does a customer navigate that? If we feel it, they must feel it. How do they
sort out the good from the bad?
Yeah. What should they be looking for from both a candidate perspective but also a client perspective? What should they look for?
So I quite like companies that I guess they can look to members of professional associations, whether it's AMRANTS or RCSA or APSCO or whatever, because at least then there is a comeback. If something should happen. I used to say that to people during my career, right? It's like being a CPA.
Yeah.
If you're not happy with me, you can complain. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So maybe it's that. I think people that invest in compliance that is good, that do it well, but also how many people are prepared to say your name out loud? Because I say to people, that is the best, is when people will say your name out loud to other people, right? So, yes, there's a lot of new entrants, and I'd hate to say this to you too, because you probably, but what I say to healthcare people is, I feel like your sector's just caught up whereas in other
Very
sectors
much.
they've
It's
had
so
all that,
saturated,
you know,
yeah.
it's been saturated.
that's
And
interesting.
for you guys, yes, it's true, but
But that's
it's only
a new-
lately.
yeah.
It's only
Yes.
actually lately, right?
Yeah.
So I know it's different for you to navigate and different for your clients to navigate, but it's always the same, is there will people that will do it faster, cheaper, but is it better? And that's what they've got to work out is, do I want price? Do I want quality? Is it possible to get all of it in one? Probably not, right? I think life is like that.
Yeah.
You choose.
Yeah.
The cheapest won't give you the best.
No.
Yeah.
So if you want the cheapest, then I think you as providers, you get to decide, is that what we want to do? Is that what we want to get known for, right? Because again, when I look at any market, you think, well, there's a customer for a $2 shop and there's a customer for, you know, whatever the luxury is. And there's probably room for all of us, you know, for all of those. And you get to decide, where do I sit in that?
Yeah.
So you can become known for, maybe we are the super high touch, super value adds, you know. People can come to us to ask us questions, not just to provide staff. I feel like sometimes staff in my career has been almost like the side thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I would agree.
Yes.
Like
And I feel like that changed for us in COVID. Like prior to COVID, that's how it was. It was sort of like the second thing. There was all about the relationship and the support. But then it sort of flipped to this: we need staff. So then everyone's lost that muscle of
Became
Yeah, it's
transactional.
become transactional. Now it's
Yeah.
got to flip back.
Yeah.
You are in so many agencies across the country every week. What are the great things you're seeing that agencies are doing? You can just give us a couple of secrets. What's some great stuff?
Actually, you know what I really like, and there's a couple of companies that I've been doing it for recently, is, and it doesn't have to be me, it's not because of that, but it's because of that I know about it, right, is they're really looking critically at what they're doing. Because I think, like you said, in that COVID era, a lot of agencies, particularly in your sector, just, right, went gangbusters.
Yeah.
And because
Went
of
for
that, it's kind of like they had processes, but they added people, and then people make it up. And so really, I mean, I've been hired to do a few audits, or audit sounds so serious, but where I've actually gone and looked at what they did from beginning to end from a customer experience point of view, from both the client and the candidate. And that's been super interesting, actually, for me. Because, like, I've looked at things and then I've said to them, well, did you mean to do this? And they're like, no, we had no idea we were doing that, right?
Yeah.
And it's not, but you know what I really admire is that they're taking the time and I guess investment in doing it, and that they want to do it well.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this is what I believe, at the end of the day, the candidates and the clients, right, their customer experience is the most important thing. But you get to decide what is the service we want to give them. Are we the 5-star hotel? Or are we the motel on the, you know, in the country road?
Yeah.
And there's room for all, right?
Yeah.
Because we need that motel too
Yeah.
when we're there. But when we provide this service, I think, you know, you need to think about, what do we want to be known for? And are we showing up at every step?
Yeah, every interaction is what we're identifying. And that's really true, because the last few years it has just been crazy, and we've seen that. Like, we've had to stop. We
It's
literally
almost
had that
too
this
busy
week.
to dive down, hasn't it?
And we've just
And
this
now-
week stopped and started to go, that doesn't make sense. We're handing the baton here for 50% and then back there for the other 50%, and then we're going over here and saying, now you touch it. And we've made these really messy processes because everyone's been so busy. It's just been tapping on the next
just
thing,
doing
and the
it,
next
just
thing.
the doing, right?
Yeah.
Just the doing. So I think that's been quite eye-opening, I think. And I think, just to come back to your other question about what should clients look for in good agencies, I think there's a lot. So it's connected, right? People that do quality assurance, you know, whether it's ISO or whatever it is, but they're really looking at their process, because then you can say that is why we are more expensive.
Yeah.
Because we take these things seriously,
Yeah.
right? And I think your company too, I mean, you also invest in your people. That's something that I would look at if I was sitting on the other side, because I'd be like, well, who are these people that are recruiting people for me?
Yeah.
You know, are they the right ones? Like, I think
What about a
I mean,
candidate then? The flip, you know, if you're a candidate looking in, what should they be looking for? Because they've now got all these agencies coming at them, offering them the world.
I think the thing that candidates want first and foremost, has always been, I think that's still true, is they want a job. When they come to you, they want a job, right? Whether it's perm or whether it's temp. So can people actually provide them with jobs that are good for them? Are they listening to them? Actually, so one thing that really surprised me, and I don't know if you do this, but really surprised me with with the first medical agency I ever went to was probably about 12 or 13 years ago. And I didn't realize this, and it's specific to medical. No one else does this, is they just send out all the jobs to all the doctors, and then they choose. And I'm like, okay. And I said to them, why do you do that? And they said, well, that's how we've all just done it. I said, no, but why do you do it like that? They're like, no, I don't know. It's just the way we do it. And I think, wow, that is so inefficient, because you're actually making the candidate do the work. How does the candidate know from looking at 100 different positions which one is right for them? So to answer your question about what should a candidate look for, I think they should look for a consultant that actually knows who they are and why they want to do the work they want to do in the places they want to do and how long for or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Is, again, be more curious about them. What is it that you want from us? And I say to people, look, if your candidates are with 4 or 5 different agencies, they're still dating.
Yeah.
They haven't found the one yet.
Yeah.
Why aren't you the one? And the reason you're not the one is because you don't know what they want.
Yeah, you're not listening.
Yeah.
You're
Yes.
not listening. Or maybe you're not curious enough to find out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, maybe you can't be the one, and that's also okay. You just say, I can't do that for you. But be honest. And I think that's what gives our industry a bad name, is consultants say to me, I don't like to tell people we can't help them. I say, okay, so that means you send them out the door and they think they're going to hear from you, and they never do.
Yeah.
They go
Yeah.
down the road, again, same thing happens. And then they just think, we don't know what we're doing. I'm like, I don't like that. Be honest with people. I can't help you because you haven't got this certificate or the right visa or whatever
Yeah.
reason.
It's that whole no
Close it
update
out.
is an update.
Yeah.
So just because
But just
you can't
be
move
honest.
forward. Yeah.
Don't sit on the fence. A lot of people sitting on the fence, and I think that's more now than before. I think the generations now, they don't like to offend people. And I don't know why they even think of it as an offend people.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
being honest and transparent.
helping.
Right?
Yeah. That clarity is kind.
Yes.
What are you hopeful or I guess excited about for the future of recruitment? You know, this you've seen all these different cycles. Like you said, the AI was one piece that made you stop for a minute. What are you
for sure.
excited about for the industry?
Oh, well, that's a good question. What am I excited about? I think I'm interested in to see how we're going to adapt. Because if we don't adapt, I think we are actually in danger. But I don't know. Honestly, until they can create a robot that can do what we can do, which is, read all the nuances in a person and
the
in a
emotional side of
client
it.
and all that, I still think there's going to be a room for recruiters. But I do think that we have to navigate it carefully now, because just because we can automate something doesn't mean we should.
Yes.
And it's funny because when I updated my book, I had different people write chapters in it, and one was a tech person.
Yeah.
And we actually, Andrew and I, we had this conversation, right, because he's tech guru, totally. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten near my book, right? But I did say to him, like, certain things he was saying, instead of speaking to the temp on a weekly basis, we can just text him. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, maybe once in a while, but you still have to talk to him. So we had this conversation, and he actually it wasn't that he disagreed with me at all, but you have to understand his lens is tech, right?
Yes.
And my lens is totally human.
yeah.
So it was kind of like, ooh, so so it became, okay, so you could do this.
Yeah.
But in Sophie's chapter, it's very much you're doing it this way. You have to get to know the person.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm excited about, I guess, how we evolve, but also, I think we have to think carefully about, we don't need to do things just because we can.
That's
Does
so
that make
true.
sense?
No, 100%.
I think it's a really interesting point, because we all feel like we have to do all of the things sometimes because it's ever changing and we have to keep up to date with so many things. But yeah, sometimes it actually worked okay.
And
old
Speaking
way.
to people.
And one of the audits I did, it was actually that. Okay, so you've put in these things.
Yeah.
Is that really necessary? Because it's just
Yeah.
made it longer.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think from a candidate client point of view, service to me is consistency. That's why I think it should be the same every time. But also, you don't need to make it more painful.
It'll be easy to do business with. That's what
Yeah.
we've been asking.
Yeah.
Is this easy?
Yeah,
Would
for
I want to
everybody.
deal with this?
Not just easy, but is it actually pleasant?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it actually nice? when I get a little update from
Yeah.
CMR or from whoever it is, in that way. And is it the same voice?
Yeah.
Because that's something that, was apparent to me too from looking at a few different companies, is they had different voices inside the same company.
Yeah.
Like, are you consistent?
Yeah.
I'm very much into consistency. People think it's very boring. I'm like, but if you think about what excellence is, I think it's consistency.
Yeah.
And predictability. Like, when you go to a hotel, you're like, we go there because we know
what
it's
we're
going to be a certain
Yes.
thing. And if it's suddenly different, we're like, what's happened?
Yep. And leaning into those moments that matter.
Yeah.
Those human moments as well, where you can really enhance those relationships and build. I think that's also really important. Is looking to be human, and I think we heard that last week. Don't automate a congrats, you've had a baby or whatever. It's like actually using all those opportunities to just the moments that matter, that are really special in life. I think that's where we can also add that value.
Yeah. Have you? Do you know that book, Moments of Truth?
No.
So it's quite old, but it's SAS. It's Scandinavian Airline System. So I grew up in Denmark, so it's like our Qantas, right? And so Scandinavian Airline Systems, they were in trouble in 1979. They had gone through a period of, profit, and then suddenly the oil prices shot up, and then, they were in deficit. They got a new CEO, and he was 31 at the time. I always say that. Jan Carlson. And people thought, okay, he's going to buy new planes, he's going to cut staff, do all the normal things, right? And he did the speech to the staff where he just he talked about moments of truth, and he said, so I looked at all the moments of truth where we touch our passengers, and there's 5 of them, and each of them might only be 15 seconds, but they are what matter. Oh, I just got goosebumps.
I'm thinking that too.
And he went, I can't save this airline, but you can. Oh, I just totally got goosebumps. And next year they were already in profit. So what he did was he flattened the structure, but he basically said to the frontline staff, if you see something and you can fix it, fix it. You have my authority to fix it. So they did. And there's all these stories. So that's what I recently spoke at a conference where I was very much talking about moments of truth, because in that company, they've given everyone 12 hours back on their desk, like through automation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why do you need me? And they're like, well, we just thought that they would talk more to our customers.
Yeah.
Can you talk to them about that? I said,
What are they doing with those 12 hours?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
And so I talked to them about moments of truth, because that's what it is. Is that every touch point they have with you matters, no matter how small it is, right? And people think there's neutral. I don't think there's neutral. Every interaction, it actually either adds or it's minus.
Yeah.
There's no neutral.
Yeah.
People think you can just kind of...
Yeah, I love that.
I don't think there is.
I was going to ask you, we talk a lot about happier healthcare recruitment, and you've worked with various sectors across recruitment, but in healthcare specifically, what that means. But I almost think that moments of truth is the thing that can really make a difference in healthcare. If you think about the service that agencies like us provide, but also the healthcare community with each other, that's what's needed, those moments of truth to...
Jan Carlson. It's worth reading. And it's a tiny little book.
Yeah.
I read it in one sitting because it was just, wow.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Put that on the bookshelf behind
Yeah.
Sophie now.
So CMR donate to a charity with every episode. Where can we send that money to for you?
Oh, so I've thought about this.
Yeah.
And, but now I have to tell you go back to the beginning.
Go back to
So
the beginning.
the reason why I stopped being in recruitment and started doing what I was doing was because my husband died suddenly of a heart attack, and our children at the time were 4 and 8.
Oh my goodness.
And so anyway, I figured I have to be around, and I thought I'll do coaching. So that's how this happened. But a friend of mine who's a psychologist, counselor, she's a friend of mine now, but she was kind of a little bit adjacent at the time. And she gave one of my best friends a list and said, Sophie's not ready for it yet, but when she is, and you'll know when, give her this list. And it was a list of places where you could take your children for bereavement counselling.
Right.
And so I rang them all.
Yeah.
And the one that I rang, which is the National Centre for Childhood Grief, so that's the charity. You know when you ring somewhere and they answer all your questions before you've even asked them? And I knew that was the right place, right?
Yeah.
And they call themselves a friend's place. So if ever your children are asked, where are you going? They can say, I'm going to a friend's place.
Yeah.
And they don't have to explain too
where
much.
they're going. What, yeah.
Yeah. So I took both my sons there for a while.
Wow. Thank you.
And it's free.
Really?
It's free, yeah. For the children, it's free.
Yeah, good.
Wow.
And it's a group.
Yeah.
Because they say kids, the most important thing for them is that they are like everyone else. So when you have a parent die, you're kind of like the kid whose dad's dead.
Yeah.
But when you go there, you're just like everybody else. And some of them have actually lost both parents. So it's...
Oh, thank you for sharing that with us. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, no, sorry, I couldn't really tell you about a friend's place without going there because you're going to ask, why did you pick
I
them?
remember, yeah.
Why are you going to pick them?
Yeah.
Thank you. No, we would proudly donate to that charity. What a wonderful charity. And thank you for being here with us today. Like, there's so much, honestly, there's so much insight that you have, and the fact that you've seen just all of the cycles of recruitment and you continue to, remain optimistic, and just all of the generations of recruiters that have been touched by your training, your coaching, your mentoring. Like, you are just such an inspiration, and the industry is just so much richer for having you in it.
Thank
you give so much, and
I'm really excited for us team to have time with you this week.
I'm
absolute
excited
pleasure
too.
to have
It's
you
a
in
big
here.
group, but it'll be fun.
It kept getting bigger. If new starters kept joining, I was like, bring them forward.
But the stuff that, I certainly learned from you so many years ago is the stuff that I still talk about.
Yeah.
So it will stay with
It
them.
will
and it's
definitely
worthwhile.
land.
I'm going to talk about some of those things again tomorrow. You know the mindset, right?
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
All those things have stayed, right?
Season.
And you are living proof of all of that.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We care for the land.
We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land of which we meet, who for centuries have shared ancient methods of healing and cared for their communities. We pay our respects to elders past and present.